Last week, I was a guest on the Lag Comp podcast hosted by Frito, Eddie the Chump, and The Schwantz27. Great show, fun time. If you missed that episode, there's a link in the description. One of Frito's topics was the cancel Colbert fiasco. If you haven't followed that story, there are plenty of internet articles about it. I'll link one in the description for you. All of that controversy with Colbert originated in his mocking of the Washington Redskins organization for the hypocrisy of having a racial slur for a nickname while trying to promote cultural sensitivity with a charitable foundation. The question of Native American mascots has long been interesting to me. In this episode of Skaggy Speaks, I'll explain my opinion on whether the Redskins should change their mascot, why I hold the opinion I do, and a proposed solution that might balance the competing interests. If you can't already tell by my censorship, I do think the Washington Redskins nickname needs to go. On its face, it's a pejorative racial descriptor. It's at best a silly way to describe a team, and at worst, it's a racist slur. It's a tired cliche argument, but sometimes cliches are cliche for a reason, because they're true. Would you be comfortable with your team being called the niggers, the wetbacks, the chinks, the kikes, the hajis, the japs? The list goes on. The only difference between the term redskin and these terms is one has been socialized over time in the United States, and others less so. Besides the blatant racial insensitivity, naming a team for a racial or ethnic group becomes all the more strange when typically none of the members of the team belong to that race or ethnicity, in this case because that particular group has been historically marginalized, relocated, and relegated to parts of the country specifically selected because of their crappiness. Let me give you a real-life example. I went to high school in Montana, a town called Red Lodge specifically. Red Lodge is named for the red teepees the former Crow native population used to build before white settlement, so our high school mascot and team name was the Red Lodge Redskins. Since the settlement times, the Crow have been moved out of the Red Lodge area, which is amazing rolling mountainous land on the east slopes of the Northern Rockies, to a federal Indian reservation near Hardin, Montana, 90 miles to the northeast, in the god-awful desert where General George Armstrong Custer took his famous final stand. Red Lodge is by no means a wealthy town, but it's not a place of extreme poverty either. I was a typical Red Lodge kid, white, middle class, and definitely not Native American. All through high school, I only recall one Native classmate, which means our high school clubs and sports teams, despite our Redskin mascot, were decidedly non-Redskin. That made things profoundly awkward during some of our sports matchups. I distinctly recall going to a girls' volleyball game my senior year because I was really trying hard to get with this one girl I really liked. Because I was really trying hard to show my school spirit. The matchup was the Red Lodge Redskins, my home team of all white girls, against the Lodge Grass Indians, a team of all Native American girls from the Crow Reservation. That's right, the all-white Lady Redskins against the all-Native Lady Indians. Tense. Things didn't get better when our white cheerleaders came out and chanted, "Beat those Indians! Beat those Indians!" with apparent lack of care or tact in observing the opposite team was in actuality, and not just in mascot, all Native American. Awkward as fuck. So even if the term Redskin isn't racist, it creates some painfully awkward moments and situations where the racial meaning of the term is highlighted so obviously and so painfully. I'm proud to say Red Lodge High School changed its mascot a few years back, a decision I supported fully. Some of my more traditional friends were butthurt about this. One argument I couldn't stand was, "If the Indians are so upset about our mascot, why don't they say anything about it then?" To which I'd scream aggressively, they don't give a shit because we stole their land and sent them to lives of poverty in the worst parts of the state imaginable. They don't live here in Red Lodge, and they don't have the luxury of giving a fuck about our mascot when they have real problems like joblessness, lack of health care, zero opportunity, and a life of complete and utter marginalization. Oh, yeah, I guess. But we should keep the Redskins, though. And I get it. I get the tradition. My friends graduated Redskins and want the tradition to continue. Same goes for the Washington football team. A long tradition you don't just want to throw away. I think the mascot is wrong, but I have a proposed solution that balances the need for cultural sensitivity with the desire to preserve tradition. Change the team name to the R words. That's right, the Washington R words. Pixelate the helmet logo. Pixelate the on-field logos. Change the Redskin text to say R words. See how good it looks on RG3? Keep the same everything. Just make those few changes. No more racism and the team keeps its tradition. I can hear it now.
3 seconds left on the clock. RG3 drops back to pass. Pressure coming from the left. He scrambles, gets away, lofts it to Deshaun Jackson in the back right corner of the end zone, and cut! Touchdown! Touchdown R-Words! And with that, the R-Words are going to clinch the NFC title in amazing, culturally sensitive and appropriate fashion.
I don't know which is more fantasy, renaming the team to the R-Words or the idea of the R-Words actually being postseason relevant, but you get my point. In all seriousness, just change the f***ing name. I can try to make articulate points all day on it, but in the end, it's just a stupid f***ing name. Do better. That's it from me. Bye!